Dr. Harrison, how does plantar fasciitis develop?
Plantar fasciitis develops when there's too much stress on the actual bottom of the, and it normally happens over time, but sometimes it happens fairly instantly. But it's mainly about too much stress and too much strain on the actual plantar fascia band, and the band will start to react, and so that's how it develops. So whether it's because you put too much time on your feet at Disney, or you went on a super long run or did a long workout and your body's reacting to it, or if it developed over a long period of time and you just didn't know to all of a sudden. So that's kind of how plantar fasciitis develops.
Next question.
All right.
How does plantar fasciitis, or how is it diagnosed?
How is it diagnosed? A couple things. It's diagnosed in a podiatrist's office, so that's number one. The best diagnosis, should I say, because sometimes you can diagnose it yourself, or another specialist can diagnose it sometimes as well. But
in 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take the I-695 East, I-83 North exit toward Towson, York, Pa.
Primarily by feel and palpation, and sometimes we use ultrasound and MRI in order to diagnose it. We use x-rays to help guide us. It doesn't give us specific diagnosis, but it's mainly a clinical diagnosis, and we use ultrasound and MRI to help back up our clinical diagnosis.
What symptoms may a person experience if they have plantar fasciitis?
What symptoms may a person experience if they have plantar fasciitis? Well, one, a lot of people complain of a sharp shooting pain, especially when they first get up in the morning, or if they're in a car like we are right now, and they step out of the car, they experience a sharp pain right there at their heel. Some people experience like dull, achy pain in the plantar fascia area throughout the day, and others can also experience pain when they get off of their feet.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take the I-695 East, I-83 North exit toward Towson, York, Pa.
All right, so next question. Can plantar fasciitis result in other pain in other parts of the body, such as maybe the knee, ankle, or leg?
Indirectly,
use the right 2 lanes to take the I-695 East exit.
Plantar fasciitis can result in pain in other parts of the body, mainly because of compensation.
Continue on I-695 East for 1.5 miles.
So if you are essentially compensating, limping, or trying to keep weight off of your heel, whether it's the inside of the heel, the middle, or the outside of your heel, other joints in the body have to pick up that slack, and the other limb also has to pick up that slack. So it kind of throws your gait off, and it throws your body alignment off, and other areas definitely can be affected. Yeah. So,
will plantar fasciitis go away on its own?
Generally speaking, it does not go away on its own. Every once in a while, it can go away on its own, and that's normally when a person rests for quite a while, or sometimes some home remedies can help to make it go away. But generally, it does not go away on its own. You normally have to go to a podiatrist so that you can get it checked out, get it diagnosed appropriately to make sure that it is plantar fasciitis, because sometimes
in half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 24 for I-83 North toward York, Pa, Timonium.
So with that being said, it's best that you go to your podiatrist so that you can get it accurately diagnosed and kind of take it from there, because usually it won't go away on its own.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 24.
Is plantar fasciitis common in only one foot, or do you see it in both?
It's usually common in one foot.
Continue for 42 miles.
A person can develop it in both feet for sure, but generally that's after compensating for quite a while on one foot, or if both feet are starting to develop signs and symptoms over a long term simultaneously, for those that are like stand on their feet for long hours of the day, or if you're walking a whole lot and things like that. So it's rare that it develops in both feet at the same time, and it usually happens in one, but it can develop in both feet at the same time.
What are your treatment recommendations to help heal or manage plantar fasciitis?
So the main treatment recommendation that I would have for just about everybody is to go to their podiatrist, because it's nothing better than getting an accurate diagnosis from the start. Therefore, you're not wasting too much time at all, or you're not wasting any time at all. And so that's number one, I'd say. Number two, if you're in a home setting, some things that can be helpful for you, they're not helpful for everybody, but that can be helpful are stretching exercises to stretch out the ankle and the muscles in the bottom of the foot, the muscles in the back of the leg. Massaging can be helpful as well. Icing at the end of the day and throughout the day can also be of some benefit. And you also got changing your shoes as well, and also getting orthotics, like the Athlete Everyday orthotics that are made for plantar fasciitis.
All right, so where is the most common is pain felt in the foot?
The most common place in the foot that pain is felt for plantar fasciitis is generally at the inner aspect of your heel bone, just on the bottom / just on the side, and that's where a lot of people get the sharp shooting pain in their foot, and it's mainly on the inner aspect on the bottom, right there at the heel bone.
What foot shape is commonly known to have higher incidence of plantar fasciitis?
Well, that's a tricky one, because the majority of the time we look at plantar fasciitis from like an activity standpoint, but if we're looking at foot shapes, it's arguable. You can look at a high arch foot type, for one, especially the rigid high arch foot type, and then on the opposite end you can look at flat feet, or the rotational flat foot, as having a high incidence. So it's kind of arguable, toss up between the rigid high arch and the rotational flat foot.
Can you expound on what a rigid high arch type foot is?
Yeah, so there are a lot of people in the world who have a naturally high arch, which there's nothing wrong with having a high arch, but over time the ligaments in the middle of the foot kind of corresponds to the wrist area. Those ligaments start to tighten up, and that makes the foot more rigid, and the stress load that's normally placed on that midfoot, the midfoot kind of adapts. It's the adapter for the entire foot. The stress load that's normally on those midfoot bones and ligaments right there gets transferred to other parts of the foot, and as we get older, our ligaments tend to tighten up unless we are actively stretching and flexing those ligaments and those joints and things like that. So that's basically what a rigid high arch foot type is.
All right, thank you. So last question here.
Okay.
How long does it usually take for healing of plantar fasciitis to take place?
How long does it generally take to heal plantar fasciitis?
Yes.
So I got a couple answers to that question. It can take as little as a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, but it can take as long as 6 to 8 months. It all depends on how bad you have it, how long you've had it, and what other issues you have to go along with it, such as tight calf muscles and lack of range of motion, or if you have activity circumstance like being at work where you're on your feet, if you're security guard, police officer, or if you're going door to door for sales and things like that. So those other variables will determine how long it actually takes, but it can be as short as 2 to 3 weeks, or it can be as long as many months.
great. So I thought that was the last question, but I heard you say a
It's
little
all right.
bit more about tightness of the calf muscles.
Yeah.
So is it possible that other muscle groups may result, or tight muscle groups may result in plantar fasciitis?
Oh, definitely. That's one of the biggest areas of lack of diagnosis or non-diagnosis is, okay, we have the pain and the symptoms showing up at the plantar fascia, but what's contributing to it exactly? And yeah, tight calf muscles, tight soleus, which essentially means that there's lack of flexibility at your ankle joint, and even tight hamstrings falls into the same category. That puts more stress on the bottom of the heel because your body wants to go through a particular range of motion so that you can walk and so that you can be fluid when you're walking. But if you have tight muscles along the way, then you're messing up that fluidity that your body wants to have, and some part of your body is going to take on the extra stress that's caused by those tight muscles. And in this case, the bottom of the heel / the plantar fascia band and its associated muscles, generally they take on a lot of that stress for people that have tight calf muscles.
All right, awesome. So thank you. I appreciate you answering all those questions.
For sure. Let me know when you have more. I'm always here. I love plantar fasciitis.
Bye.
All right, see you later.